Hi, Shay.
Computer audio.
I can hear you. Hi.
There you go. Hi, Miss Stephanie.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. You look amazing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All grown up. I want to thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join me this morning. I really
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you for reaching out. Any way I can help.
Thank you. Well, I asked you to come this morning so that we could talk about a couple of things.
Okay.
One will be, of course, what the plans are for Daughters of Valor, DOV program, our next level, which is our building fund.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I want to talk to you a little bit about was this major thing that you have going on in your life, and that is your book.
Yes,
Jumping
ma'am.
into journalism. I am so proud of you and so excited about your achievements. And I look forward to just getting some more information.
Mm-hmm.
And I put together some questions.
Okay.
And if you wouldn't mind, we can maybe talk about some of those things as well.
Yes, that will work.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's jump right into it then.
Okay.
As a DOV alumni, I am asking all the girls, we did something when you all were just in your teen years at
Mm-hmm.
DOV program.
Mm-hmm.
Your banquet 2012 was
Wow.
your banquet for DOV program.
Mm-hmm.
You started DOV program in 2009, and we
Mm-hmm.
had this big celebration of the achievements of yourself and of the other girls.
Mm-hmm.
And on that day, my daughter, who was responsible for making sure you guys got to the event place
Yeah.
safely and made sure you were dressed and ready and prepared,
In the limo.
in a limo, that's right, a long white stretch limo, she took the time to do something that I never even thought of. And she put together a video time capsule,
Mm-hmm.
basically just sharing where you will be in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 2001, I'm sorry,
20.
2021. Let me
Yeah.
get it right. This is
Yeah.
2021. So we're looking at a little over 10 years that much time has passed since you were part of DOV program.
Yeah.
Do would you like to see what some of that looked like?
I will. I am very anxious to see what that looks like.
Let's take a look at that. Let me share my screen with you.
Oh my God.
Do you know that beautiful lady?
I was 12 years old. In 10 years, I'll be 24 and I'll be leaving college and starting my career. When I started Daughters of Valor, I was... When I started Daughters of Valor, I was 13. In 10 years, I'll be 25 and I will become a doctor. When I started Daughters of Valor, I was 12. When I started Daughters of Valor, I was 12. And in 10 years from now, I'll be 24. And I would like to be a cosmetologist. When I started Daughters of Valor, I was 14. In 10 years, I'll be 24 and I hope to become a chef. I was 10 when we started Daughters of Valor. In 10 years, I'll be 22. And I will be in college doing finance management. I was 14 when we started Daughters of Valor. I was 14 when I started Daughters of Valor.
I have one more I wanted to share with you too, Shay. Let me find that.
Okay.
And being a fashion marketer and a cosmetologist. What word? Lady.
No.
Lady. Empowerment. Empowerment. Family. Inspirational. Thank you, Ms. B. We love you and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Wow, how time passes so quickly. And now all of you are at that 10-year mark.
I definitely said I'll be starting my career.
That's where you are today.
That is where I am today.
Yes, so elaborate a little bit more on that. What was it like for you after Daughters of Valor? First of all, what did Daughters of Valor impart into you? How was it impactful in your life?
I always tell anyone when I tell my story on how I got to where I am today, that Daughters of Valor was a huge part in just building me to become a woman. Daughters of Valor helped me transition from a girl to a teen to a full woman. Just the network and just being around like-minded girls at a time when you're there. I was struggling during my teen years. I just remember always knowing that I can reach out to you, reach out to anyone, any of the girls for advice and just to help me during that stage. And it definitely just helped overall with the transition and my relationship with God that I have today. Today, I am a reporter and anchor in Columbia, South Carolina at our Fox affiliate here. And I'm also a published author of Jumping into Journalism.
Awesome. What did you learn from DOV program that was the most impactful?
I would say absolutely relationship with God. I always went to church. My mom always stressed the importance of praying, but I think through Daughters of Valor, we built our own relationship with God. We learned about Bible study, reading the Bible, finding chapters that we can relate to, hearing from different speakers on how the Bible times relates to our times right now. I think it just made the personal connection with God beyond just what my parents already instilled in me.
Awesome. I remember the day that Jackie came to Daughters of Valor. And that was the session where we were preparing for the summer and a lot of the girls were interested in maybe getting a summer job. Can you elaborate a little bit on your experience on what Daughters of Valor did for you on that interview and preparing for the work world? As a teen?
I just much like today, I bounced on the opportunity. I was very serious about it. I don't know what I had on my resume back then, but I had a little resume. She helped me to say the right things, what to say when you reach out to an employer and just show that you're very interested in the job. Some things that she told me back then at my very first job at Publix, I still think about when I interview today. That's always ask a question. no matter what during the interview. Even if you can't think of something, you need to have a question prepared to show that you're interested in the job. She taught me to send a handwritten letter after the interview. That is something that to this day, I believe has helped me get several opportunities beyond Publix. So yeah, that's another reason why I say Daughters of Valor had a huge impact, helping me get my first job beyond Publix. I worked at the Shop With You. And that taught me responsibility, getting up on the weekends early in the morning because I had to go to work.
Awesome. And it was such a pleasure having you there each day. How has the etiquette part of Daughters of Valor prepared you for the young lady that you are today? Because in Daughters of Valor, we not only spoke on your spiritual part, but we also helped you with life skills. And one of those was the etiquette training. Can you tell me, has that carried over?
Absolutely. One of the life skills I picked up from Daughters of Valor was from that etiquette training that we had. And I will say that at that age and time, having etiquette training wasn't popular. It wasn't something that I was familiar with before Daughters of Valor. And I found myself in many, many settings to this day in my career where that skill has came in handy, whether it's a meeting with my boss or a potential boss or a client we have at work, whether I'm doing our interview, just that professionalism that kind of carries over when you're at the dinner table that you are expected to know. Going into your career doesn't come with the etiquette class. So I'm very thankful for Daughters of Valor for me already having that skill.
And we also did some areas of community service. Has any of that impacted your life? And are you able to use any of those skills today to be able to give back to your community?
I would say my favorite and what automatically comes to mind is when we went to Give Kids the World. Community service, I think that it just shows the importance of the saying that I live by, blessed to be a blessing. We're all here to help other people. I feel like Daughters of Valor was birthed through you wanting to help our generation, and it kind of passed on along to us. We did several community service projects. I remember meeting Shaq. I remember helping your neighbor at her home. And just you always taught us how important it was to help out other people. When you have the time, when you have the opportunity and the resources, your job is to be a blessing to those around you.
Awesome. I want to hear more about your book now.
Okay.
I want to hear, I remember very, very vividly when the question was asked, all the girls were asked, where do you see yourself in the future? What are some of your career plans? Mm-hmm. And you were always that child that stood up and said, I want to be on television. I want to be in acting. I'm going to be in journalism. I'm going to be on TV. Mm-hmm. And one day I want to meet Oprah Winfrey. I remember so clear. Can you tell me a little bit about your journalism path? Because I know that you talked about this quite vividly in your book. And how can others get your book?
Okay, awesome. So I always tell people that Jumping into Journalism, my book, started out as a book, and it has grown into something much larger that I had no idea, but God absolutely knew it was needed. I will say that I don't think I ever intentionally knew that I had goals to be a published author, especially so soon in my career. But when I look back, God always ordered my steps and had me helping other people in whatever capacity, where it was mentorship, YouTube, through my social media profiles, and it just made sense that a book would be next. So in the book, I just talk about how I started in journalism in college, what my experience was interning in New York City at CBS News and then at local news stations, all before I landed my first job here in Columbia, South Carolina. And I think what a lot of people, a reason why they're drawn to my story is because less than a year after I landed here to just be a reporter, I was promoted to become an anchor on the desk. It's very uncommon for our industry. But that's the plans that God had for me. I'm very thankful. And so I feel like my next goal while I was here was to help other people do the same. People always reach out and say, how do you do this? Or, I'm interested in, like you said, being on TV. I'm interested in being a journalist, and how do you do it? So the book is just simply a resource to help people. That is all. If you have any questions, the book is there to show you what I did and what you can do.
Very good. And Shay, you know that this will be used in my social media platform so that I can show others that DOV program is a program that has been successful, is successful, and hope to continue to be successful. We are in the pandemic right now, so obviously we're not meeting in person weekly with young girls and young adults, but that is something we do plan to do once we get the green light from the pandemic to move forward. So in the meantime, we're in the process of trying to raise the money. We need to raise $350,000 so that we can build a resource center / meeting / event center that can be used for our youth and young adults. And this is a process I know that will take some time, but with the right donors, this is possible. Is this program something that you would recommend for others to get involved in investing, or even sending their children to participate in the program?
Absolutely. Daughters of Valor was huge in getting me to where I am today, whether it was through the relationship with God, community service, the life skills that we learned in that program. It was so needed. It was so needed then, and it's so needed now. So I would definitely recommend anyone, whether you're a young man, a young woman, or a parent that is seeing this video, that Daughters of Valor is definitely something that you want to help contribute, invest in. It has produced a lot of great people in society today, people that I still keep in contact with. And I think, like I said, especially nowadays, even during the pandemic, this is something that is needed for our young people, for sure.
When we get our resource center, I would love to invite you to come in and share your story. And there might be girls who are interested in becoming a journalist and just don't know what path to take, what steps. What would you tell your younger self?
About journalism?
Yes.
I think don't limit yourself. I think if I ever had a mindset like I would just come here and I would never be able to be on the desk. I would never be able to be an anchor at 23 years old, just out of college, or, I never saw that for myself. I would be limiting myself. And so I think to never limit yourself, never limit your ideas, because if it's a part of God's plan, it will happen. But God's plan only works with your work. So you have to put in the work. You have to know what you want and be diligent, but never limit your ideas of just how far you can go and what God can do for your life.
That was great.